Hi everyone and welcome to the show. I'm your host Vita Janas and this is what made my week. In this very moment, I am full of energy, I'm in a good mood, I'm excited about filming this episode and about the future in general. But this week, it was not like that at all. I felt yucky, I felt tired, I felt uninspired, and I just could not seem to get out of this funk until I remembered that I'm a life coach. And I remembered that I have been doing work on myself for decades. I've been in therapy for decades as well. So I have a few tips and tricks what you can do. And as soon as I started utilizing them, using them actually, I brought myself out of this yucky state. So today I'll be sharing a few tips and tricks with you as well. So if you are going through a phase, don't you worry, I've got your back, so stay tuned. But before that, I wanted to share the first thing that just made my week, and that was receiving an email from one of you, from my viewers. Kelseys sent me an email sharing her things, what made her week, and I wanted to share that with you, so check this out. Kelseys writes, "My parents having fun. This weekend my mom went to a musical with her friends, and my dad went to a concert with his friends. I was so happy to hear this and to hear the joy and life in their voices as they shared about their experiences. It is fun now that I'm in my late 20s to see them as individuals rather than just my parents. There are hard parts of that separation too, but this is a great one." Thank you so much, Kelseys, for sharing this. I can feel your joy and your parents' joy and excitement also through this email. I really do appreciate you writing and letting us all know, sharing this with the community. And I can relate. I remember exactly the moment when I started seeing my parents as people, as their own individuals, rather than just my parents. I think it is, I'm debating between words significant and life-changing, and I don't want to sound too dramatic, but I do think it is life-changing, that moment when you let them go, because once that energy shifts in us, we become a lot more free. Something happens within the relationship, dynamic changes, and also something changes in our parents when we let them go and when we simply let them be as their own person, as their own individual. This is gorgeous. Thank you so much, Kelseys, for sharing this. I really do appreciate you and this email and reminding me of that moment in my life. And if you are watching this and you had this moment already in your life as well, drop me a comment down below. I'd love to know what that moment was. And how do you feel right now? All right, let's move forward and let's move to those tips for what you can do when you don't feel your best. Now, before we begin, I have to say that I'm a believer that we are put on this earth not to feel good, but to become good at feeling. You see, our emotions, they're not negative nor positive, they just are, and we need all of them. And we assign labels and we start judging certain emotions that don't necessarily feel good in our bodies, but they're essential to who we are. They're our navigating system. And did you know that you feel an emotion for about a minute and a half? And that is because actual physical changes, chemical releases, changes in your breath, heart rate, your sweat, different changes are happening in your body based on emotion. And that happens for about a minute and a half. And whatever comes after, this is up to us. We can totally control that. So usually we attach ourselves to emotions and then we linger and then it becomes a mood. If we stay longer with them, then it becomes our temperament. And if we totally get stuck, that becomes our personality. That's why we know some people who they're always negative about everything, or that's the person who's always sad and always pessimistic. That is because they attach themselves to a certain state. With that being said, also I want to acknowledge that there is an emotion and then there's also like physical state that you can be in, especially if you are tired, if you are in pain, if you have a chronic illness, or you are a new mother and you're exhausted, that's a whole different thing. This is not an emotion, this is your physical state that can evoke certain emotions. So I guess these tips will help with the emotion and with physical state. So tip number 1 is having a list of all the things that give you energy. And this comes with heads up, you have to write that list when you feel good, because when you are in that state of openness, you have a different perspective, you can see things a lot broader, so you can come up with better and more creative ideas. So if you are not in that state right now, just ignore this for now and do this later when you're feeling better. But whatever rocks your boat, if that's going for a walk in the nature, if that's going for a swim, if that's reading a certain book or talking to a specific person that really lights you up each time, make a list and then use it whenever you feel down. Tip number 2, listen to the music that you loved when you were a teenager. I use this tool all the time because I'm a huge music lover, but I saw this TikTok this week and this therapist explains that it actually works and research backs this up, so check her out.
Okay, hi, I'm a therapist. There is a thing called neuronostalgia where researchers are actually finding that the music we listen to as teenagers bind to our brains differently than anything we're ever going to hear as adults. So literally one of the best coping skills and things that I still do myself is listen to the music that you love to listen to, like bangers as a teenager. If that's like punk rock, Pitbull, like whatever, listen to that because it actually helps us. It helps us get out of our heads and it helps us connect to ourselves. It makes us feel alive again. So that is 100% approved. Do it all the time. I'll do it with you.
Since we are talking about music, I'm gonna share my songs that I go to very, very often and dance to when I'm feeling down and I need that boost. This is in no specific order. First of all, Paramore, Ain't It Fun. This kind of connects to the letting go of the parents part. If you don't know the song, listen to it, you're gonna love it. The second one, Beyonce, Grown Woman. Yes, so empowering, such a good one. Next, Esperanza Spalding, Precious. It's a slow song, but the musicality, the harmony of it, her vocals, it always does something to the inside of me. Next, Audra May, Here I Go Again, and that's her take on Whitesnake, Here I Go Again song, but specifically her version. So good. Next, Alanis Morissette, Ironic, of course. She used to be my icon, like I wanted to be her when I grew up. Then Modest Mouse, Float On, very melancholic song, but also very inspirational. Next, Red Hot Chili Peppers, By the Way. I love all of their songs, I adore them as well. But this song just lets it get out of your system, like really dance and rock on. And last but not least, Ella Fitzgerald, How High the Moon. This is when I discovered jazz, and this one really opened something up in me. That improvisation, that whole part was just kind of eye-opening for me. What music can be, what you can do, how you can express yourself. I love that song, so this is my list. I should create a Spotify list. Like, I'm obsessed with creating, curating lists and then sharing with people and sending them certain songs, and I love when people send me their songs. So if you have some bangers that you usually jam to, put them in the comments. You would so make my week if you would do that. Please leave me a comment with your song. Yes. Yes, do that. The next suggestion has helped me and carried me through the most difficult times after becoming a mother. When I'm sleep deprived, when I'm exhausted, when I'm irritated, when there's a pile of laundry, pile of dishes, pile of toys, pile of work to be done, when I'm just, instead of asking, so what? That's the question that usually our society forces onto us, like, so what? Push through, do the things that you gotta do, you know? They ask it in a different way and in different words, but that's the message of it. So what? That feels very gaslighting, that feels very condescending, minimizing, and I don't like it at all. So instead of that, I asked, now what? And when I asked this question, instead of looking for the answer on the outside and asking other people what to do, I close my eyes and I go within and check in, now what? And I allow my body's wisdom to provide me with an answer. And whatever it tells me, I follow it. So now what? Drink a glass of water. Okay, I go and drink a glass of water. Now what? Tell me, now what? Then go to the balcony and breathe in fresh, crisp air. Okay, I go and stand in the wind. Okay, now what? Now, have a snack. Okay, peanut butter, here I come. Protein, right? I have a bit of protein. Okay, now I feel a little bit better. Now what? Now, start the dishes, and then I can start putting one foot in front of another and slowly but surely move towards wholeness. I take care of myself, I take care of my environment, I take care of my child, I take care of the energy that I'm in. I'm in charge, not other people, but I do listen not to the voice of the head, or not to my ego when I want to achieve and be the winner and be the best and get the validation. No. I check in with my inner wisdom that wants the best for me. So the question, now what, is your tool. This question definitely made my week because it helped me to get through the yucky states. It brought me outside, it brought me to the garden, it brought me to connect with my husband, it brought me to a silent moment by myself. It works every single time. And this leads me to the final thought that I want to vocalize is liberation through the inner voice. When we are faced with challenges, we tend to ask for help, and this is essential. We must do that. We're social creatures. We're wired for connection. We can't do this on our own for sure. I fully support going to therapy, counseling, utilizing priests, life coaches, whomever you choose, whomever works for you. Do that. Especially if you have been stuck in this state for a prolonged time, ask for help. At the same time, know that you can't rely on the outside help forever. You have the power to liberate yourself through your inner voice. You have that power. I have that power. Everybody does. We have this innate wisdom, this inner knowing that can set us free. So I invite you to cultivate this inner dialogue with yourself that is kind, that is loving, that is embracing, supportive, uplifting. Work with this inner voice and make it your home. Make it into a place where it feels good to be. So learn to question your old, maybe outdated beliefs. Learn to question all the messaging that you receive from our society and culture. Learn to question all the teachings that you receive from your parents. Learn to know what aligns with you and what doesn't. And when you do that, when you feel it, that it's not yours, draw the boundary. Draw the boundary, clear the air, clear your inner space so you can make more space for yourself, for your authenticity to emerge and flourish, so you get the chance to connect to yourself, not just the outside world. So you know what it feels like to get the validation from the inside. So you learn how it feels like to give the permission for yourself. So you learn what it feels like to be free in connection with others while being free inside. Work with the inner voice and liberate yourself. Okay, so here are the tools one more time. Number 1, make a list of all the things that uplift your spirits and use that list. Number 2, listen to the music from your teenage days or from your early 20s that inspired you when you were in that state when things were possible and you felt optimistic. Number 3, ask, now what? And number 4, cultivate a relationship with your inner voice and liberate yourself. If you use these tools, I promise you will make your own week. Final thing that I want to name before I finish, and then I'm gonna go and enjoy it, is my mom's dumplings. Oh, they're so good. I can feel my mouth drooling already. Nobody else makes them like she does. I don't know what kind of voodoo magic she does, but they're always 11 out of 10. They're always the best dumplings in the world. So they're waiting for me right now to go and have my lunch. So I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your time with me. As always, I am so grateful. And if you want to make my week and co-create this channel and the spread of good, exciting, uplifting news, send me an email in the description below and I will share this on this channel. We can do this together. I'd love if we would do this together. So email. And if not, go ahead and enjoy your week. Make your own week. Make someone else's week. Do something exciting, fun, creative, something crazy. And come back next week for more. I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.